A distinguished member of the Rules Committee, Ms. Leger Fernandez.
The gentlewoman from New Mexico is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. And I, too, rise in opposition to the rule and the bills that underline it. Because as our ranking member pointed out, these bills do nothing to solve the problems that Americans are asking us to face. For example, these bills will hurt the middle class. Let's take health care. Americans want quality health care that doesn't discriminate against people with pre-existing conditions, that does not discriminate against women. That's why we passed the Affordable Care Act. Now, today, we can proudly say that only 8% of Americans are uninsured, the lowest level in history. But Republicans keep trying to repeal the Affordable Care Act, and in fact, H.R. 3799 is yet another stripe at this good bill. Republicans, this bill that they are proposing, Republicans would expand association health plans that are not required to cover maternity or prenatal care. Republicans rejected an amendment to require this essential care for women and their babies in all health insurance plans. How can you go back to your districts and look women in the eye and say, we have passed legislation that would not cover you when you are pregnant, waiting to give birth to the children of the future? Republicans would also pass H.R. 3564, which would increase mortgage fees for middle-income borrowers and decrease fees for the wealthy. Americans they want to buy a home of their own so that they can start saving and build their own wealth. They want to be part of that middle class, and home ownership is a key part of that. You know what? They call this bill the exact opposite of what it is. It does not protect middle-income workers. It increases fees for the middle class. And lastly, H.R. 461. It is an opinion that contradicts Americans' basic sense of decency and humanity. Undocumented immigrants toil in the hot sun to pick the food we place on our table. They take the most dangerous jobs in our slaughterhouses and on our construction sites. Extreme Republicans, they'll take their labor, but they would refuse education or shelter to immigrants and their children. Is this how we honor Immigrant Heritage Month in this chamber? Scripture steers us in a more noble direction. In Matthew 25, 31 to 40, it says, I was hungry, and you gave me food. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you welcomed me. We should be more welcoming to those asylum seekers and refugees that are bringing so much pain, but also contributions to the American landscape. With that, I urge my colleagues to oppose this rule, and I yield back.
The gentlewoman yields back.